All right. Feeney Talks with Friends, episode 135. This is great. I'm here with my friend Michael.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good. This is great. Again, my name is Eric Feeney, founder and president of Friends of Feeney. Our mission is to help children and families that need assistance after heartbreak or tragedy. And I use this podcast, Feeney Talks with Friends, and I talk to wonderful people that do great things in the community. And Michael, you do great things in this community. Hartford, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Detroit, Houston, Japan. Do I go on? Did I miss any?
A few.
Amazing stuff. I'm very excited to talk to you.
Looking forward to it.
So, what grade do I teach? Do you remember?
Third grade.
I teach third grade. Very good. So, pretend you're talking to a third grader.
You got it.
Please explain what's intellectual property.
So I'm an IP lawyer, and intellectual property is property that's intangible. So we know what tangible property is. That's a car, that's a house, that's a piece of land. And intangible property is property that's really created within the mind. And those are patents and trademarks and copyrights and trade secrets. And that's what I focus my legal practice on.
Okay. Well done. You did.
Yeah,
third
great.
grader.
Yeah.
Now, so you took a business from 2 lawyers to close to 100 lawyers. How did that happen?
Hard work and smarts and good looks.
Yes.
Mostly good looks. No, I was, first of all, I was in the right place at the right time. Our economy, our global economy, used to be just about factories and manufacturing and all that, and it still is. But starting in the 80s and throughout the 90s, there was a transformation globally where IP, intellectual property, became a real big driver of the global economy. And I went to UConn Law School. I got out in 1983, joined a very small patent and trademark law firm, an IP firm. And eventually the couple of guys I worked for retired, and myself and another guy, Phil Colburn, we said, hey, let's take this firm and let's really grow it. And we wanted to create a global powerhouse IP firm, which at the time seemed like a pipe dream a little bit, but we had our hearts set on growing something big, and we thought we could do it out of Hartford, Connecticut. At the time, the biggest IP firms were in large cities like New York or Boston or San Francisco or Chicago, and we had a new business model. We understood that companies around the world needed to hire people like us, but they also had limited budgets. So we said, if we stay here in Hartford, the cost of doing business in Hartford is, well, some people think it's high compared to Boston, New York, San Francisco.
Okay.
It's a lot lower. So we focused here in Hartford, and we ended up growing our firm. There's about 1,000 patent firms in the United States. So in the 90s, we were probably the 700th largest firm. And now over the last 10 or 15 years, we're consistently in the top 10 of the largest patent and trademark firms in the country.
That's amazing. Amazing stuff. Now, when you said tangibles, can you give some examples to something that is like an intangible that needed the IP?
Sure. So almost any company who makes products, whether it's software or whether it's a car, whether it's a jet engine, whether they do oil drilling, right? They all those products and the processes, they develop them, and they need to protect them so that their competitors will not copy them. And the way you protect them is through the patent system. So a lot of our job is to work with scientists, technologists, engineers, and they can be at universities, they can be at early stage startups or the biggest companies in the world. We work with all those engineers and scientists, and we draft, literally write up their inventions.
Yep.
We send them to the patent office, and then there's all this back and forth, and eventually we get patents issued to them.
So hypothetically, say a teacher taught this wonderful lesson. Is that something that the IP, or is that totally off the wall, crazy?
So that's there's a
something
gray
comparable?
area. There's a gray area that the Supreme Court is wrestling with, is whether like business methods can be patentable, or those kinds of esoteric things can be patentable, and it's hard to patent some of that stuff. it needs to be more in something more physical, typically.
Because I teach great lessons, and I want to make sure, I get the credit. Maybe I could get that.
But, tools, sometimes and a teacher will come up with an interesting tool that they use to help their students, and those kinds of teaching tools can all be patentable.
Okay. Yeah. So when I do small group instruction, say kids, I get the whole group, and then some kids need a little extra support, I'll bring them to it's a half moon table, so I could sit in the middle and work on all the kids. Someone created a cloud table, so each kid gets not just a circle, but their own little area.
Yep.
And they tried to patent that.
Exactly.
But that's a tangible item.
That's a tangible item. That's a table. It's a piece of furniture.
But not your deal. Not your...
No, we do all that.
Oh, you do that too?
No, we patent anything.
Gotcha.
We patent anything and everything, from software to chemicals to jet engines.
And rumor has it that you, Michael Cantor, created intellectual property litigation. True or false?
No, that is not true. No,
okay.
I've been actively involved in intellectual property litigation. I didn't create it. It's been around.
Did you create a law? This is from John Lyons, episode 131.
What did John Lyons say?
Let's see. John Lyons. What did John Lyons say? Man, I might be speaking out of turn. What do you say? I don't have it. What if it comes to me?
Okay.
Maybe we'll phone a friend later.
That's right.
But you did mention Phil Colburn, right?
Yes.
So our motto, be a good friend. You see the bumper stickers around town?
Absolutely.
Signs. So that's hold the door for someone, pick up trash that's not yours, give compliments, be charitable. What makes Phil a good friend? I know he's your coworker, but what makes him a good friend? Or is he a good friend? Will Phil listen to this?
He's a very good business partner, and he's been a longtime friend. What makes him a good friend is that I actually hired Phil, back in the early 90s when we were a very small firm. And what makes him a good friend and a great business partner is we had a vision. We both had the same vision, and we both really supported each other as we grew that vision. And I would say that we're very different people, but one of the things that makes a business partner or a friendship work is to know when somebody really cares about something and let them go and do that, and only push back if very rare circumstances. And both of us have given each other the rope to go in different directions, always go towards the same when we knew that the vision was shared.
So trust, keeping positive intentions, and
all of those things,
and confidence in others' work ethic.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
Wow, that's a good friend. That's what it was. Did you more or less create the genre of intellectual property litigation within the legal community?
I did not.
No.
All
right, John Lyons.
Yeah, no, I did not.
How did you grow your firm to be one of the largest in that specialty?
Yeah, so the more things change, the more they stay the same. Growing a business today, even with the internet and with all the fancy stuff out there, it's all about building relationships, personal relationships. So one of the things I started doing in the 90s when we decided we want to be bigger, and we had a reason for it. There were a lot of small firms like mine that were being gobbled up by general practice firms. We wanted to stay independent, so we knew we needed to be bigger. So I started getting on airplanes, and I started traveling and knocking on doors, principally in Japan and Korea, to try to develop business there. And it's hard to do that, right? You go there sometimes and you visit with some law firms or some companies, and you have no idea when you get back on the plane, was that worth the effort and the time and, of course, the money? But over time, we developed some huge relationships. Our largest client today is Samsung, which is, as you know, a huge Korean company. And so it was that kind of thing. And then it was also just relationship building. So we would have friends who were at a client, a VP of engineering. That person would go to another company, and we had this personal relationship, and then we would follow them to their new company, and we'd start doing work for them. And then as we matured as a law firm, some of our lawyers started what we say going in-house. They started going into corporations, into universities, and they had a great relationship with us and a great time working at Cantor Colburn. So of course, when they got to their new spot, they would bring us in. So we grew continuously from and organically. We never really acquired any law firms for growth, but we did it through just being nice people to
Nice.
and giving good high quality service, being responsive, and also, as I mentioned, that business model, having a good price point, having it giving a lot of value to our clients.
Nice. Can you name a couple other popular companies that you work with?
Sure, we
addition
work
to
with
Sumscan?
Raytheon Technologies. We work with IBM, and we work with General Motors, Dow Chemical, and then we work with a lot of universities. We work with the University of Connecticut, and just it's a very varied clientele. And we also do a lot in the trademark area too. Ferrari is a client, and we do work for Major League Baseball and a bunch of others. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole league or certain
We do
teams?
work for all the minor league baseball teams. We
Very
do work
nice.
for, yeah.
Well-
Including our local team in Hartford.
Yes, Hartford Yard Goats. Yes. So after this podcast, I'm heading to Hartford Yard Goats, and you have a phone call with who?
With Samsung, actually.
And what time will it be over there?
It'll be Wednesday morning.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I want to shout out some sponsors. Keating Agency Insurance sponsors the podcast. Float 41, The Fix IV, Luna Pizza, Golf Law Group, People's Bank, Parkville Market, Maximum Beverage. We're here now. Beautiful place, isn't it here?
Oh, I love this place.
Our newest sponsor, Sally and Bob's. You ever go there?
Absolutely.
Great spot. Helen and Caesar, they were podcast guests recently. And then West Hartford Lock. So with West Hartford Lock saying, what are 3 keys that make you great at being running, I want to say co-managing partner, but that we'll get into that next question. A lawyer at Cantor Colburn LLP. What are 3 keys that make you great at your job?
3 keys. Wow. Well, I think one is I'm trying to be very responsive. So when my clients contact me, whether it's email, text, phone call, whatever it is, I try to respond to them right away. In the service business, we're no different. You know, if you're a plumber and you got a leaky basement and you don't respond to the homeowner, they get mad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing in my business. We're in the service business, no different than a lawyer or electrician. So I try to be really responsive. I try to be creative and cost effective in what I'm telling my clients. What I do is whatever my issue my client's dealing with, I put myself in their place. What's the best thing to do given the costs of doing things? If there's 3 options, what would I do if I were them? And I try to push them to do the best thing for them. It's not about how much money I'll make. It's about what's best for my client, because at the end of the day, I want to grow old with my clients, and you don't do that unless you give them the right advice all the time, not just the advice that puts more money in your pocket. And I would say the last thing is I'm just try to be a human being with them. I just try to be their friend. I want, because my clients are like really good people, and I want to get to know them and get to know their issues, get to know their families, get to know what's driving them, what their desires are, where they want to be in 5 or 10 years. And when you're a real with somebody, it's not just business. I think people really like that.
Very nice. So time, cost, and being a good friend.
That's right.
Time is money. And we're going to talk about that. So your role changed. What happened on December 31st?
Right.
And why? Why did that happen?
Yeah, so I'll go back to the 90s when Colburn and I formed this. We had taken over. We were working for a firm, and the 2 guys retired, and we were looking out into the future, and we said, we want to grow this firm, and at some point it's going to be a lot bigger than we are. And what I saw at the time was that in a lot of law firms, especially IP firms like mine, guys and women, but would be in their late 60s, their 70s, they're still working. And you had other lawyers at the firm who were saying, you know what, I like the leaders of this firm, but they're never going to leave. I'm never going to be able to spread my wings. I'm never going to be able to take the firm in some other directions. And so what would happen is a lot of these firms sort of blow up because lawyers that are 52 say, I'm never going to be in control. I'm out of here. I'm going to take my book of business and leave.
Okay.
And we said, we don't want that to happen. So we wrote into our partnership agreement back in the 90s that at the end of the year you turn 66, at the end of that year, that you will no longer be an owner of the firm, that you will retire. You could still work for the firm, but you don't own it anymore. And so as we started growing and new partners came in, they all knew that at some point Cantor's leaving, Colburn's leaving, and everybody else will leave at that age, so that the younger, quote unquote, people
Yeah.
will be able to spread their wings and take control.
Something to look forward to.
Right.
Like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. For them.
Exactly.
That's interesting. That's
People
cool.
like to know that someday they can control the situation. So we wrote it in. It seemed like 35 years later.
Like, that'll never happen.
It honestly seemed like it was never going to happen. It did. And it did on December 31st. So as of now, I'm...
Because of your birthday. Or
Yeah, my
because of-
birthday, I turned 66 last
On
year.
New Year's Eve?
No, but it's the year. It was the
at the
year.
end of the year.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yep.
At the end of the school.
Yep.
Yep.
So it's a little bit hard. It's been my baby.
I know.
It's
how
been
does
my
that feel?
baby.
That's
So
crazy.
it's it's mixed blessing. I know it's the right thing to do, but and I've got a lot of other things on my plate which keeps me busy. So
Did that
that's
already
great.
happen to Colburn? Not to check
No,
his
he's a year
age.
younger. It's going to happen to him next. In another.
Do you
year.
have someone already filling your shoes? Or
We
is
have a
there
group of other
interview
partners.
process?
There's a group of other partners, and they will vote on leadership as things go
Oh,
forward.
it's a vote.
Yeah, amongst the partners, right?
Wow. And what are they looking for when they vote? Or how?
I think clones of Mike Cantor, I would say.
Yes.
No, I don't. They're going to look for what the best people to lead the firm into the future.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's almost like a principal saying, or a superintendent's like, all right, age-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that goes to being term limits and age limits on a lot of things.
It does.
Right?
Yeah, I think it's a healthy thing.
I think it's healthy too. So I think that's wonderful that you did that. Commend you because you're handing over your baby.
Yeah.
Now, does that change with, not to get personal, but like, where does that fall in being an owner and a lawyer? I'm thinking pay right away. So what's pay? Still getting paid the same, or do you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's different.
It's different.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Interesting. Wow. Did I miss anything about intellectual property? How long can you talk about intellectual property?
Oh, I could go on forever. I taught patent law for many years at UConn Law School, so I could just talk forever. So it's what I've done my whole 40-year career.
Nice.
Yeah.
What can I get patent?
You want to get something patented?
Yeah.
Well, you've got to.
Can friends of Feeney get patent? Be a good friend?
So besides patenting, we do trademark work, right?
Okay.
And trademark is any kind of a symbol or a word or a phrase that designates your goods or services and
Get the little
distinguishes
T?
them.
Get the little T in the circle?
Yeah, that little that R in the circle,
Oh, R
or
in
the
the circle.
TM. The TM means that you're using something as a trademark. The R in the circle means it's been registered, through a firm like Cantor Colburn. But a way to protect, like you could with the Feeney thing, you could probably get that as a registered trademark, and that you'd be able to stop others from knocking you off. I'm sure everybody wants to knock
everyone's
you off.
aware of Friends of Feeney. It's the knockoff Friends of Feeney.
Yeah.
What are the pros and cons of getting something trademarked? Like,
There's no con.
Okay.
It's just like patents, in that patents protect you from your competitors copying your products. Trademarks protect you from your competitors copying the names of your products or the name of your company or the logo you use or a phrase, a tagline that you might use. It gives you a tool to go to court and say you've got to stop using that
interesting.
because you're causing confusion in the marketplace.
Because someone went to London and there was I think it was Be a Good Friend Chinese restaurant in London.
Mm-hmm.
And someone said, hey, Feeney, you should sue.
Yeah.
Joking.
Yeah. But just so you know, all of these things, patents, trademarks, they're only, when you obtain them, they're only good in the country that you apply for them and get them.
Okay.
So for example, our firm, for our U.S. clients, we obtain patents and trademarks in countries all over the world. So I hire other IP firms in England, in Korea, in Australia, in China, right, to cover that country. And that's by the same token, those law firms in all those foreign countries hire me to do it here in the U.S. So I'm going in May. I go to something called the International Trademark Association. There'll be 15,000 people in San Diego, lawyers, patent and trademark lawyers from around the world. And then we come, and a lot of those lawyers I do business with. I send them work. They send me work.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You take care of me in London. I'll take care of you over
Sure.
here.
Yeah.
Interesting. Man, I'm learning. See, I'm a lifelong learner. I tell my students that. Learn something new every day.
Right.
Was this around, so in 1989, I was in 8th grade. In my 8th grade yearbook, I wrote, I want to be a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Could I have written intellectual property? Was that around?
Yeah. So IP, I mentioned, is
How new
Patents,
is
trademarks,
that?
copyrights, trade secrets. What's kind of interesting is the phrase IP
Okay.
really started like in the mid to late 80s. So when I first got into this, I was a patent attorney that did trademark law and some copyright stuff.
Okay.
Nobody used IP, and then all of a sudden it became a thing when the global economy was supercharged by intellectual property. That's when that phrase really came in. So I mean, if you Google IP, maybe it shows up in the 60s, but not much. It really became a phrase, I would say, in the late 80s and then throughout the 90s.
Gotcha.
That's when all of a sudden I started referring to myself as an IP lawyer and not just a patent attorney.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, we'll get back to IP. My next question, you may know how it's related. Can you do a cartwheel?
Well, I'm married to a woman who certainly can do a cartwheel. Who just yesterday, I'm married to the mayor of West Hartford.
Yep.
And I must say, the best mayor.
Yes.
And I was going to say the state of Connecticut, but I'm going to go more broadly. Yeah. The United States of America.
Nice.
And certainly the only one who does cartwheels as far as I know. But yeah, just yesterday, she had a full day on her plate, and she threw out the first pitch for Little League. And as soon as she throws the pitch out, she does a series of cartwheels to go off the field. And then later that morning, the girls softball league started their season, and she threw out the first pitch there. And again, a series of cartwheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You knew exactly where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Every parade, cartwheel. My 100th podcast, I have it at Playhouse on Park. And, I'm thanking everyone, thank you, Carrie. Hey, May, you want to come up? And I, instead of say a few words, I go, do you want to do a cartwheel? Without thinking, without question, she just, boom, cartwheel. High heels and all. Amazing.
Well, that goes back to the fact that she went to Hall High. And at Hall High, she was a co-captain of the girls Hall High gymnastics team.
Okay.
And she was a really, really good gymnast.
Oh, interesting.
And then over the years, I'll say two things. One is she loves cartwheels. And whenever we were in a hotel that had like a long hallway with all our kids and everything, she would do like cartwheels all the way down the hallway if nobody was looking. And then also when our kids would play, one time when our kids were playing basketball at Hall during one of the leagues, she did a cartwheel. It was wintertime. She had these big boots on with like long heels. And she slipped when she did the cartwheel, and she actually ended up injuring her elbow.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and an ambulance had to come. And so the cartwheels can be troublesome for her.
And she still does them to this day.
She still
didn't give up.
No.
Yeah, I taught, again, teaching third grade. My two students, one sang the national anthem at the softball, and she was amazed. She goes, and the mayor was there, and she did a cartwheel in the dirt in her high heels. Yeah. I was like, oh, I know.
And that girl did a great job on the national anthem.
That's my student.
Oh,
I have the video.
She was very cute.
All right. Tell on the camera. I'll show her on next week.
Very cute. Congratulations on the national anthem.
That was so good. And another John Lyons quote. John Lyons says, as mayor, Shari can see around corners. What do you think he means by that?
Well, she has superhuman vision, so she actually doesn't see around the corner. She sees through the walls. So yes. I think that he means that she anticipates the needs of the town going into the future. I mean, and there's so many examples. And just when you see all this housing going up, she saw some years ago how critical so many people wanted to move into the town, and there wasn't enough housing. So many seniors wanted to leave sell their bigger homes, but there was no housing for them to go into. They wanted to go into a smaller apartment or a condo. So, and she understood that if we had more housing even for our seniors who wanted to sell their homes, they would move in, the housing still stay in town, and younger families could move into the houses they're leaving. And then, of course, all the young professionals that want to live here, there wasn't enough housing stock. So she has really pushed to make that happen. And at the same time, of course, it's helping, and it really will help in the next couple of years to grow the grand list of the town, which really will help the taxpayers to help with subduing the burden that taxpayers have here in town.
We have an exclusive. Taxes will go down in West Hartford.
Well,
you heard it here first.
Someday that we're going. But this is going to really help.
And I'll always have a job because kids will keep moving in. Yeah. So that's
but all these buildings you're seeing, they're not on. Once they come online, they pay substantial taxes, and that's really going to help lower the property taxes or help with property taxes for residents.
I know, right by French Cleaners, there's 2 huge ones. There's that on Farmington.
Yeah.
That's going to be huge.
Right.
That's got a lot of people.
Right.
And then Shari had something to do with those.
She has something to do with
and behind Luna Pizza.
All the economic development in town. She's really involved in. Yes.
Well, if you want to learn more about Shari, she was episode 35, and you have noticed Michael is episode 135.
Yeah.
So 100 podcasts it took to get from Shari to Michael.
Well, listen,
does that say something about you or her?
It says everything about me. I just ride her coattails. My claim to fame is I'm the husband of Shari Cantor. That's about the best thing I have.
That was great. And so do you offer suggestions, advice to May, or do you let her do her thing?
I will. No, listen. We have an. I will say we have an amazing marriage. We're very close. We're each other's best friends, and we do share. Some marriages people don't know what's going on at work, and vice versa. That's not us. We share a lot. So when I said about growing my firm and all the getting on airplanes, there was something that I didn't mention, and that is that Shari was always by my side. So I would go to international conferences. This one that I'm going to in San Diego next month. Shari comes with me to all those, and my clients around the world like Shari better than they like me. So she's really helped me grow my firm without question. And by the same token, I'm really trying to support her in everything she does. We're both on a lot of other boards and things. But with the town, I watch every town council meeting. Sometimes I text her all kinds of things, because I see her face. Yep. Sometimes I see her look down at the. Sometimes I'm texting things that are inappropriate, and she looks down, and I try to get a smile out of her. So but we really do support each other.
That's amazing. Yeah, you're a power couple.
Sure.
2, both in the Hall of Fame at UConn.
We are. I think
amazing.
I don't know. I don't know if there's another couple. There must be. But I'm in the School of Engineering Hall of Fame, and she's in the School of Business Hall of Fame.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yep.
That's great.
We bleed blue, just for the record. We're huge UConn people.
So, can you get Gino or Hurley on my podcast?
I'll work on it.
All right.
Where really Shari has more pull than I do, because Shari's a trustee at the University of Connecticut.
So both have verbally confirmed with me. I saw Hurley at the Children's Community Gala in Hartford, and I say, hey, I give him the spiel. Hey, Coach, I'm Eric Feeney. I teach 3rd grade. I do a nonprofit. It's called Friends of Feeney. We help children. He starts slapping me on the chest. That's good. Beep. That's good. Shh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so will you come on the podcast? He's like, yep, definitely. So,
how about this? How about Hurley's wife? Would you like Hurley's wife on the podcast?
That'll work too.
Because she works with Shari. She and Shari are together on the Children's Hospital.
Yeah, she's really involved with that.
Yes, as is Shari. Shari chairs their board for raising.
She's good friends with Matney. Matney, my friend Scott Matney's wife, runs the Children's Community Hospital. So she's good friends with Hurley. Andrea, is it?
Yes.
Andrea.
And she's a hoot. She would be great for your podcast.
Sign her up. Let's do it. Coach. And then Gino also said too. So, and I joked with Gino. I go, Gino, will you come on the podcast? Hurley said he would, and Lobo said she would. He goes, oh, that's great. You got one that speaks English and one that doesn't. And I was like, Gino never misses. He's hilarious. So, yeah, big bleeding blue. So you went to 4 Final Fours in a row.
Yeah. We were in Tampa for the women's just now. We did the 2 men's before that, and we were at the women's before that. That was in Minneapolis when they lost to South Carolina in the finals.
So you definitely bleed blue.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
4 Final Fours. And then 2 of your kids went there, 2 out of the 4.
Yes. Yeah, my son Ben, who is a trademark attorney at my law firm, he went to UConn undergrad and then UConn Law School. And my son Josh, it went to the School of Business, got an MBA.
Nice. And what do your other 2 kids do?
So the other 2 boys, the 2 boys I just mentioned live here in West Hartford. The other 2 boys live in Chicago. And they both went to Tufts University, and my son Sam is a singer-songwriter.
Oh, no way.
And he plays in a few bands, but he has his own band. It's called Minor Moon. Minor Moon. Go on Spotify, check it out. Great music. Indie. He's an indie rock band. And my other son Jacob is a lawyer, working with housing issues in Chicago.
Nice. So two in Chicago.
Two in Chicago.
They hang out? Are they near each other?
They hang out. They are very close. All four of our sons are very close.
Nice.
They all love each other, see each other whenever they can, and the two in Chicago definitely hang out together a lot.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I have my sister-in-law has 3 boys. I couldn't imagine 4 boys.
Mm-hmm.
The youngest slaps the oldest. He goes, cries, tells, and then the oldest gets yelled at. The youngest goes back and fights the oldest again. I'm like, you just complain,
right?
But it's just crying, breaking stuff. I'm sure was that the experience?
I tell you, they were
hitting
pretty good.
Yeah?
They were pretty good kids. My oldest son Josh was sort of, they took his lead. He was a really sweet little boy, and it was not as bad as one would think. Yeah.
4 boys.
But they all went through the West Hartford school system. They went to Morley.
That explains it.
Yeah, ended up.
That's
at Hall,
why
and
they had great teachers in the
great
West
teachers,
Hartford
great
public school
education. They
system.
really did.
They only hire the best out here.
Only the best. Yeah.
Which goes to say, humble brag, but this also brings it back to Shari, and just an amazing person. A couple years ago, I was a finalist for Teacher of the Year. Unfortunately, didn't get it, but it was still an honor, and I'm so proud and humbled. I got a handwritten note mailed to me. Open up, Shari Cantor. Congratulations, Eric. You do so good in school and such good things for the community. So that really meant a lot, and that just shows what kind of person and mayor she is.
Yeah, I will tell you. I mean, to that end, whether it's handwritten notes or whether it's responding to emails from constituents, she does it. So like at night we'll be watching TV, and like she's buried in her phone, and it's not because she's shopping. I'll say like, what are you doing, hon? Because we're watching a show, and she's like, I got to get back to these people. And a lot of times it's things that would be unpleasant to get back to. Somebody complaining about this or that, but she feels it's so important to respond to everybody so that everybody knows that she hears them.
That's amazing. Yeah. No, you want to make sure like a teacher or a parent, when I do teacher-parent relationships or students, you want to treat everyone like a VIP, right? So everyone gets your full attention, and if they have an issue or an email, you try to get back to them at the best as possible.
I think that's so important. I know in my own career, whether it's, the janitor that's cleaning up your office at night, you treat everybody with respect. In my clients, it's not just the vice presidents or the top engineers, but it's the admin. It's everybody in that client. Every single person needs to be treated with respect. And not only does it pay dividend for your business, but it's the right thing to do.
Interesting. So, as a politician in the digital age, some people get a lot of backlash on social media. Do you feel like, sometimes it's mostly always unfairly treated. Do you offer suggestions? How does she feel about that? Or do you see it? Do you hear about it? Or?
I do. There's not, quite frankly, she's pretty well liked.
Yeah.
And rightly so. And so it's not as bad as I'm sure it is for some people, but it's out there. And I think that mostly the best thing to do is completely ignore it and not engage. She's really good at ignoring it and not engaging. Because I'm a lawyer maybe, and she's my wife and I love her and I get pissed off. Yeah. I'm the one who says, oh, you can't let that go unanswered, whether it's a letter to WeHa or something or something else on Facebook and she's really good at just letting it go because it goes away. And I if it was me, I would be engaging more, and it would not be pretty, and it would not be the right thing to do long term.
Yeah.
But she gets it.
It's tough as a public figure or a politician. There's always going to be haters.
Oh yeah, no matter what.
Haters.
When I taught my course at UConn for many, many years, and they get the evaluations, if you have a class with 28 people, you're not going to get 28 people who said you did great. There's always a couple of people who are mad at this. I used to bring my 4 boys. I used to bring them to the final class of the year at UConn Law School because I would bring in food, and it would be more of a question and answer about getting ready for the final exam, and I'd bring my boys in. And I remember I even had like an evaluation where they said, I don't think it was appropriate for you to bring your kids to this. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Next time I won't bring food either. Huh?
Right.
Yeah, back to UConn. So you serve on the Engineer Advisory Board. You are an adjunct professor for more than 20 years. So you're no longer doing that? Or you,
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Former member of the UConn Foundation.
Yes.
Bleeding Blue for Good.
Yes, I was one of the
blue.
founding members. That was the NIL. That organization now has been merged into the university because of the change in the law. But I was a founding member of that group, Bleeding Blue for Good, which was the first official NIL group to start paying our athletes. Yeah.
What's your take on paying college athletes?
It's funny. I was just talking to guys at lunch about it today because everybody is talking about it. I don't have a take because it's the reality.
Yeah.
It is here to stay. It's completely changed the game. It's changed how coaches coach, right? Because now at the end of it, they're professional coaches now. They got to restock their team at the end of every year. Really, all these players are on a 1-year contract, if you will.
Yeah.
Are there parts of it I don't like? Of course. Are there parts of it that I think are the right thing to do for these players? Yes. But it's just when the train has left the station, there's not much of a point of saying, "Oh, I want to go back to the old way," because it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
The Dean's Advisory Council for School of Engineer, right?
Engineer. Actually, we have a dinner Thursday night, and there's a new dean of School of Engineer. We have a meeting all day on Friday with that. Right.
Nice. Bleeding Blue. So yeah, my girls are juniors, and they do. Model UN every year.
Oh, that's great.
At UConn.
Mm-hmm.
So we go and get the tour. They really enjoy it. One's really interested in attending, so we'll see. Maybe I'll be bleeding blue soon too. I have twin girls, so they do mock trial, Model UN, Unified Theater, Student Council.
That's wild.
All the fun stuff.
Yeah, and UConn is a phenomenal school. It's the great value.
Definitely growing. When I was in high school looking at UConn, it was like I feel like it was a farm. It was in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
And now it's like beautiful campus and just it's
changed
funny. In a lot.
When I went there, my parents didn't really have much money, and so back then, if you were a good student, you were going to get in no matter what. That's completely changed. It's much harder to get in, and so when I was a senior and I went to Ellington High School in Ellington, Connecticut, my parents said, we can only afford UConn. So I applied to a single school. I applied to UConn. I knew I was going to get in. It was just a real different era.
I applied to one school too.
Oh, did you
Southern
really?
Connecticut State University.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Same thing. My parents really couldn't afford it. I joined the Army National Guard, went away for 6 months for all the training, and I promised for 6 years a week and a month. And I got the GI Bill, tuition waiver. And my buddy Jeff was at Southern. I said, I'll go there. That's it.
Great.
I applied to one school. That's cool. You applied to one school too. No, great stuff going on. How do you balance the work, life, family, work, travel?
I will tell you that I was a little nervous when I took this new turn from the law firm because, managing a law firm, it's every single day, emails, cash reports, all that stuff. I was a little nervous that would I fill my time appropriately and be happy? But I've got a lot going on, which I like to be busy. So I chair some boards. I'm chairman of the board of Connecticut Innovations. That's the state's venture capital fund. I chair the board of the Connecticut Museum of Culture and History in the West End of Hartford. I'm on the Greater Hartford Jewish Federation board. So those keep me really busy and keep me really interested in things. I'm also quite involved in a couple of early stage companies. One's a technology company, one's a restaurant. And so that also keeps me busy. So I like that. I need to stay busy. So I've got that. In between, I'm trying to take bike rides, see my grandchildren. What
about a soccer team? Do you have a soccer team?
I do. I have a small interest in a soccer team in Italy. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Why Italy? And what? Are you Italian?
No. No, the worst investment I ever made. But a good friend of mine got a group of guys. When I say I have a small investment, it's infinitesimal, right? There, a couple of really wealthy New York guys bought a team in Italy, and then
Do you have a jersey?
I do. And then a bunch of other people came in with very small amounts. Right. So, and they were in, they have Series A, B, C, D. They were in Series C, and now they actually are now in Series B. They went up.
Because if you win, you go up.
Yeah,
if you lose, you
exactly.
Go down.
Just like,
how many more do they have to go up?
Well, if they went up to the next one to be the top one.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, like the Premier League.
What's the name of the team?
Yeah, that's good. I'm like losing the name.
You're like
of the team.
LeBron.
Huh?
LeBron has stake in a soccer team. LeBron James.
Yeah, or like what's the team in Wex?
And then Ted Lasso and Deadpool, the guy who plays Deadpool.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm just like all of them.
I know. Ryan Reynolds.
That's it.
You got that Reynolds look on you too.
That's it.
Good looking dude that you are.
Yeah.
No, it's great. No, you're busy, and just an interesting life. And
and
it's
I
so
was
amazing.
just actually in India a month ago with our governor, with Governor Lamont, as board chair of Connecticut Innovations, our state's venture capital fund. I went to India with the governor. And we went to a whole bunch of cities and met with all kinds of companies, big ones, small ones. Yeah, it was great.
I know I have students, big time Indian population, and I have houses, and I'm open and I'm invited to go to India to stay with them, and I might take them up on it. I want to learn. Is it your first time over there? Second? How many times?
I'd been to India about I think 3 or 4 other times. We have clients in India. We do a lot of work. India has a huge pharmaceutical industry on the generic side, and we represent a number of generic drug companies, and I also represent an agricultural chemical company. So I'd been to Mumbai, and I've been to some other cities before.
Nice.
But never with it's different when you travel with a governor.
How's Ned?
Ned's good. Ned traveling with Ned is great. A couple of years ago, Ned and I and another group went to Israel on another business development trip. So it's fun to travel with Ned. He's a very, very nice man, very down to earth, and what you see on TV is what you get. He's just a very good guy.
I got multiple emails going back and forth with Carmen Cologne.
Okay.
She's his scheduler.
Okay, get him in here.
Coming on the pod.
Get him in here.
I'm going through you now, all right? Michael, we're going to make it happen. We got Hurley, Gino.
Hurley's wife.
Yeah. And then Governor Lamont.
Yeah.
He's a friend of Feeney. I have multiple pictures with him. Going back to when I worked at this, as a teacher, I worked in the CEA, the Connecticut Education Association, but I was a local political coordinator. So we helped elect politicians that would help and support teachers. So we would meet in Hartford and interview everyone. So I interviewed Ned and Dan Malloy. At that time, they went with Malloy, but Ned came back the following and was hired, and he's doing a great job.
Yeah,
so
great.
I'd love to talk with him. He's a good guy. Let's talk about recently. So you brought up, I was going to say, hey, recently you went to India with Ned, and then just most recently, Saturday night, we were hanging out, me and you.
Yes, we were hanging out together. Yeah.
We'll show a picture. This is where the picture's going to go, Stefania. Boom. Me in the middle, Michael, and Victor. Victor, me, Michael.
Okay.
I'm dressed up. What were you dressed up as?
Billy Joel.
Oh, you were Billy Joel.
I was Billy Joel.
I see it now.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I joked with, I was a rock star. So it was Pop Rocks. What an amazing event.
It was incredible.
So fun.
The people who were singing, that the voices were just so super.
And then it was like American Idol. They brought a new person to sing a different song.
Right.
And then they would give an award. New person sing. The food was great. They had...
it was a beautiful venue. I'd never been there before. I think it's a pretty new venue in Bristol.
Brand new. Bristol Event Center, I think it's called.
Gorgeous.
Conard's Prom's going to be there at the end of the month.
No
First
kidding.
prom that they're ever hosting is going to be Conard's Prom. Yep.
And
we were there first.
Yeah, of course, the Playhouse on Park is such a phenomenal theater.
Amazing. Yeah. So as you can see, Pop Rocks was the theme. So everyone dressed as rock stars. I guess last year it was the Roaring 20s. People dressed like that. But it was a great event. I'm so happy to go. Tracy does wonderful work at the Playhouse on Park. She's a good friend. Thank you, Tracy, for everything you're doing over there. I hope you raised a lot of money. We had my 50th podcast at Playhouse on Park and my 100th podcast I had Javier Colon sing.
Oh, that's great.
And Frank Whaley. Frank Whaley plays Moonlight Graham in Field of Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And he also gets shot by Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction.
Wow.
Frank Whaley. So he was also the guest at the 100th podcast.
Great.
But they were so, the lights, the sound, and
Mm-hmm.
Tracy donated all the revenue raised to Friends of Feeney. So thank you again, Tracy. Thank you for such a wonderful night. I mean, the food, the drinks, the raffles were great.
It was fantastic.
I won a raffle. Check this raffle out. I won at AC Peterson. I get to put a food on the menu.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't that great?
What are you going to call it?
Fries with Feeney.
Nice.
Well, Friends of Feeney. Fries of Feeney.
Fries of Feeney.
So it's going to be fries. This is all brainstorming.
Yeah,
We're gonna
go ahead,
help me talk through this. What do you think?
Yeah, we can try to patent it.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like
See
it.
that?
Now we're
See that?
talking.
Let's go.
Let's patent
But I
it.
am going to have to charge you starting now. Go.
He looked at his watch. I love it. I got to talk fast. This is like Shark Tank. Fries and an ice cream, and you dip the fries in the ice cream.
I love that.
Done. Fries of Feeney.
That
Pretty
is
good?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do you dip fries?
Salty, sweet. Everybody loves all that stuff.
You ever dip a fry in the ice cream?
I have not.
Oh, that's the move,
Yeah.
Michael. Come
Yeah,
on, you
yeah.
got to try it.
Will do.
Good stuff. So yeah, thank you. I'm so excited that I won that. I tried to win Billy Joel, but didn't win. My buddy Rob's friend won. I go, congrats. He goes, I didn't win, but I'm the +1. I go, lucky.
My wife and I just went to a Billy Joel concert 2 months ago.
Oh, nice.
At
Where?
Mohegan Sun.
Oh, Mohegan.
Yeah. We won it at, Starling Physicians. That's a group around here. They have a foundation. They raise money to do good
Nice.
things. And we went to their foundation dinner gala, and we won the Billy Joel tickets
Yeah.
there.
I saw him at Hartford a while ago. Hartford's XL Center.
Yeah. Well, he's great, even though he's older than me even, but he's great.
I mean, talent, once you have it, I don't know, it takes a while to lose. Mick Jagger's still out there.
Right.
Billy Joel's still out there. I'm sure Willie Nelson's still out there doing something. No, good stuff.
Smoking pot.
The Piano Man. Yeah, I was singing along when they did the Piano Man. That's a go-to. You got to sing along. So we talked about Playhouse on Park. We talked about Ned. I always talk, do you have a favorite restaurant? I know it's going to be tough because you're eating out a lot, but it doesn't have to be in West Hartford.
Right.
It could be anywhere in the world. You're a well-traveled guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where'd you eat in India with Ned Lamont?
We ate all over. We ate mostly I guess we probably mostly ate at hotels we were staying at. In India, you got to be careful where you eat
Yeah.
because otherwise it's easy to get ill. If you just eat at any restaurant because
So you don't get the street food?
do not get the street food. No, because you're in the water too. You have to be really careful because our systems aren't adjusted to the Indian stuff. Well, I like so many restaurants here in town.
Name a few.
I like Max's Oyster Bar.
Very nice.
I like Bricos.
Very nice.
I mean, I like them all, and I like them all. My wife likes them all equally. She loves them
That's
all.
a good answer.
Yes.
That is
And
a
I
very
like what she
diplomatic
likes.
Shari answer.
Happy wife, happy life.
I
So
love it. That's the motto I live by, too.
That's it, man.
So you're eating at your favorite restaurant, and you can invite 4 guests, dead or alive.
Wow.
Who you eating with?
4 guests, dead or alive.
Anyone, anywhere. Who you eating with?
Well, I'm going to invite. This is. It doesn't sound exciting. I'm going to invite my grandmother Betty Bassett,
Okay.
who I was very, very close to, and I would love to chat with her for a few minutes. I hate to say this. I'd also invite my dad, who died in 2001, and I'm like he missed. He was very involved watching my business grow, and he missed so much of it. So yeah. And then I guess I would invite some. Who else would I invite? Maybe I think maybe John F. Kennedy.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
yeah, maybe John F. Kennedy because he was, and maybe I love politics and all that. So maybe I would invite Franklin Roosevelt.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Interesting.
going to go with that.
It's a great dinner.
Yeah, it's a great dinner.
Grandma,
Yeah,
Dad,
yep,
JFK, FDR.
yeah.
Love it.
Okay.
Love it. And then me being a teacher for 21 years. Do you have a favorite teacher that inspired you or someone that stands out?
I had so many great teachers. I went to this small high school in Ellington, but it was fantastic. I got a great education. But I would say in college, I majored in chemical engineering, and there was one professor in particular. His name was Jim Bell, and I was in this honors program at UConn, and I was able to. He worked in a place called the Institute of Material Scientists. He was an expert on epoxy resins. And I got to work in his lab with a bunch of graduate students for a whole year. And then because of him, I got interviewed by Shell Oil Company. I almost took a job in Houston with them. But this guy, Jim Bell, really impacted my life in many, many ways and helped me in my career as a patent attorney. Patent attorneys all have technical backgrounds. Every patent attorney you meet is an engineer or a biotech person or a physicist. All of us, we have to take a special federal bar exam. And now you're even
reaching out more, right? I read an article that it used to be a lot of engineers and scientists, but now you're doing non-organic. It was like just reaching out, like everyone has to have that special background.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Software engineers, everybody
Yep.
has to have something. So
your team is like almost like the X-Men. Everyone has their own
well,
specialty.
yeah, exactly. So when we
together.
hire, we never just say we need a new patent attorney. You say I need an electrical engineer, I need a software engineer, I need a small molecule chemist, or I need a polymer scientist. That's how we hire.
Yep.
So it's very specialized. Yeah.
Wow. Learn something new. Is it too late for me to? You need.
It's never too late.
You need a third grade teacher.
It's never too late. Well, you could become
lawyer?
a trademark and copyright lawyer. Just you got to go to law school though.
Okay.
You can go at night. UConn has a great evening program.
How long would that take me?
4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can keep your day job.
I know my buddy, he's a teacher, Sean Mosley in Waterbury, did it, and he's like, Feeney, you can do it.
Oh yeah.
And then my kids, I wrote it in 8th grade.
You're the kind. Yeah, exactly. You said it in 8th grade.
I can't
You can still fulfill that dream.
I have to.
I'll be your mentor if you want.
Oh, now I love it. Now I'm motivated.
Okay.
My daughter wants to be a lawyer, so maybe it's a race. She's a junior in high school. I'm 46. Who's going to get it first?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. 4 years. That's it.
Yeah.
At night.
At night, right? 3 years if you
Is there
go
like
days.
a thesis? Is there a big test?
No. Oh, just the bar exam.
Bar exam.
Yeah.
I got that.
Yeah.
I got my principal degree. I got my 092. I can
Oh,
teach.
that's great.
So I got my administration and supervision 6-year degree.
Mm-hmm.
I could do that. Whew, I don't know. I might be too old for school. Love it. Love it. So we did favorite teachers. Is your favorite teacher Jim Roy? Jim
Bell.
Jim Bell, is he still around?
No.
Unfortunately, I was going to say we'd love to share. We'd love to share.
You get to be my age. All those teachers you had, most of them are not still around.
True. Man, so I got some upcoming events, if you don't mind me sharing.
No, please.
Bingo at Raymore and Flanagan, May 16th. Bingo. Sully Shamrock Pasta Dinner. That's my good friend who has MS. They're doing a pasta dinner. Memorial Day Parade. We're marching. Friends of Feeney's marching in the Memorial Day Parade. That's Monday, May 26th. After party at Luna Pizza.
Okay, I'll be there
Shari
watching my wife do her thing.
Cartwheel, that is.
That's it.
Hartford Athletic Soccer on June 6th. Bristol Blues. You ever go to Bristol Blues? They're college kids that play in Bristol. It's great.
Oh, wow.
So we're doing an all-you-can-eat, all-you-can-drink for $25 on July 12th. And our 4th annual Friends of Nicholas. That's Rob Parenti's son. Rob Parenti is a West Hartford teacher. Nicholas Parenti passed away after his 8th or 9th birthday. We're celebrating him for the 4th year in a row at the Yard Goats game. And our 4th annual golf tournament. Do you golf?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you around? Check the calendar. September 13th.
I will check the calendar.
Cantor Colburn.
Yeah.
Would be a wonderful
Yeah, I can see that.
sponsor.
I can see that.
Presenting sponsor.
Yeah.
Big time sponsor. Like here.
Right.
We'll give you mic time, free foursome. We'll talk. Want to talk after? We'll follow up.
Sure.
Cantor Colburn.
That's it.
The best place for IP.
Mm-hmm.
And our 7th annual Makerspace event. Makerspace is 7 years in a row. We went to Elmwood Senior Center and put out 1,000 pounds of cardboard and duct tape and just watched the kids create.
Oh, that's
it's
so
amazing.
Cool. That's wonderful.
Forts, pinball machines, claw machines, you name it, the kids are building it. So there are future engineers there, maybe some IP lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
You should go
never
recruit.
know. Yeah.
So it was great. Well, I had a wonderful time talking with you. Do you have any recommendations? TV shows, podcasts, books.
Oh yeah, what's the name of it? My wife and I are watching the show with Kate Hudson. It's like based on the LA Lakers, where she takes over the team, but it's not, they don't call them the LA Lakers, they call them the LA something else. It's on Netflix. Really funny. It was a fun
She's
show.
like, who is it?
She's the bus. She's she's
Jeannie Buss.
Jeannie Buss. I mean,
like a character spinoff.
A character spinoff of Jeannie Buss
No way.
and her family.
My wife loves Kate Hudson. So
it's a
we
great show.
Both love basketball. A lot of basketball talk and
tons of basketball talk. So if you're into sports and it's just really funny.
Oh, I gotta write that one.
Yeah,
down.
it's a great one. Yeah, if we Google it, we'll get it. I don't remember names of things.
Come on, Stefan, you're gonna Google that for us. Kate Hudson, Netflix.
Kate Hudson, Netflix.
Basketball.
It's 2 words. The name.
And then
that's it.
Running Point.
Running Point. Really
Thank
good.
you, Stefania.
Yeah.
Running Point.
Yep.
Yeah, proud. I married my wife because she scored 1,000 points in high school. So
wow.
She's at East Granby. She
Is that
played
the
Ellington.
only reason you married her?
Yeah, pretty much.
East Granby.
Yeah.
When
so
I was
she
growing
played
up
Ellington.
in Ellington.
Yep.
Yeah, that was part of our. That was in our thing.
Her biggest rival, I think, was at Ellington back in the day.
I'm sure Ellington has always had great sports, and I notice they still do.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yep.
So we'll watch that. I always try to follow up with my recommendations. Any questions for me?
What makes you such a good person?
I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know. I try my best. That's all.
That's it.
And, had not a rough childhood, but, maybe, who knows? That's a great question.
Yeah.
I like giving back. I like helping children. I was a big brother my whole life. And then my parents got divorced. So I knew how it was not to see my dad. So I empathize with anyone that loses a parent because I couldn't imagine never seeing them again. So we're just trying to help as many families as we can. Again, Friends of Feeney, our mission is to help children and families that need assistance after heartbreak or tragedy. We've helped over 90 families and raised over $250,000, all volunteer-based, working with wonderful people in the community like Luna Pizza, Maximum Beverage, Sally and Bob's, you name it. Soon to be working with Cantor and Colburn.
Sounds great.
Thank you for the question. So I got the Cantor and Colburn. Oh, do you know Lauren Grenier? Lauren Carmody. She's the executive in residence and marketing at Connecticut Innovation.
Yeah. So Connecticut, yes. I'm chairman of the board of Connecticut Innovations, and she is our head of marketing. She's phenomenal at what she does. And, CI is one of the most active venture capital firms in the United States, certainly on the East Coast. And we invest in companies here in Connecticut or companies that from around the globe that want to come to Connecticut or companies that are spun out of Yale or UConn. And we have around 250 companies in our portfolio, and she does all of our marketing.
For all 250?
No, for our venture capital firm. Okay. She's amazing. And we do this bike ride every year, this 4-day bike ride that she bikes with us on it and plans the whole thing. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no, she's a good friend.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
I sent a selfie of me and her to Shari, and Shari liked it. I'm not sure she knew exactly who it was, but I was hoping that got to you. But I'm good friends with her husband, Eric.
She's amazing.
Yeah, he's all right.
I don't know her husband.
She's amazing.
But she's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a big fan of the podcast, so he'll be
good.
watching.
I love him too.
All right. Thank you, Lauren. Any closing remarks?
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Honestly, this is an amazing community. I see it from the inside, being married to the mayor. And what makes a community amazing? It's easy to say a community is amazing, but what makes it amazing? And it's people like you, right? I mean, it's not just going to work every day and dropping your kids off at school. You gotta have some people that go above and beyond and make the place so special and warm and are empathetic. You've got all those attributes, and other people do too in this town.
Yeah.
And it makes this town, there's a reason why we keep being listed as the best place in Connecticut to live and one of the best places in the country to live because of people like you. And I'm just honored to be here today.
Thank you. It was wonderful talking with you. We shot for 50 minutes with Feeney. We're probably at 60 minutes. No, I appreciate that. Your kind words truly mean a lot. I'm just trying the best that I can. Again, I'm a teacher. I have a roof over my head, but I would like to give back and just help those that need it.
All
and
right.
model being a good friend, because if everyone was a good friend, the world would be a better place.
Absolutely.
Drive like a friend. Hold the door for someone. They're real simple too. Hold the door. Pick up. I said it earlier. Pick up trash. Give compliments. And be charitable. You know, give the Friends of Feeney. We have this wonderful thing, Birdies for Charity, going on. Webster Bank's matching 15% for all donations. So I'll set the link up at Birdies for Charity, and then. Closing remarks. Yeah, we're good.
All right.
I had a blast talking with you. Tell Shari I said hi. She's amazing. Oh, she wrote me the handwritten note, and then also I won the honoree for the West Hartford committee for the St. Patrick's Day parade, and she wrote something really nice and sweet in my what's that called when you get that nice print with the stamp from the mayor?
Right.
But she was like, "You'll recognize the Be a Good Friend stickers all over town," and it was just meant the world. So her handwritten note was amazing. That's what I suggest every podcast, write the handwritten note, and she did that. So, and you're all right too.
Okay, thank you so much.
On 3, we'll say, "Be a good friend." 1, 2, 3.
Be a good friend.